Hi, my name's Preston, and I work at Frictionless Commerce as a conversion optimization specialist.
And my name is Rishi. I am the founder of Frictionless Commerce. Started the company 9 years ago, and I work very closely with Preston.
So, Rishi, can you talk a little bit about how a page or a website redesign can potentially hurt conversion rates?
Yeah, I mean, one of the realities of the world is that clients oftentimes are in a situation where uh, enough has changed with their business that they feel the need to rebrand or to it might not even be a rebrand, it could simply be a redesign for technical reasons, right? So if they have a old website where they had a mobile subdomain and now they want a responsive website, they would probably want to do a redesign. And because they're re-architecting their entire business, so it makes sense to do a redesign. If it's a rebranding, certainly they have to do a redesign. Now, we've done this long enough where we've actually had, even though we don't get involved with redesigns at all, we do conversion optimization. But I've had experiences with 13 customers where they did a redesign, and out of those 13 customers, 12 of them took a hit on conversion rates. And the reason for this is fairly straightforward, which is that when you do a redesign, you are literally changing 100 variables, if not more. And so, how do you know? All you can do is you can look at the finished product and say, "Hey, this is performing worse," but you actually can't work backwards and say why specifically is this performing worse. So we believe that that's the nature of redesign. However, there is a diagnosis and there is a process for it. So the way we look at it is that when a client comes to us that has just done a redesign, and this happens quite a bit, and they've got non-favorable outcomes, what we do is we triage the situation and we say, okay, let's look at the metrics for the old website. Let's understand if there is any obvious reason why the old website was outperforming the live site. And then we kind of work backwards from the new website, because it's not practical for the client to revert back to the old website. They already spent all this time and money designing the website. But what we can do is we can start identifying specific hotspots within the new website where there is growth opportunity. So while we cannot turn back time and go back to what they had previously, which we don't recommend, what we can do is we can put together a roadmap for how do we, over a 6-month period, systematically and sustainably improve conversion rates from the average that we have with the new design to where the client really wants to be.
Yeah.
So that's the specific purpose of the work we do for clients that have had a redesign and have had struggles with drops in conversion rates, which by the way happens all the time. So our job is to fix it. That's what we do.
Okay. So one of my thoughts was that a potential reason for poor conversions on a new website redesign is that return customers are unfamiliar with it and how it works. If they've made like a purchase in the past, for example, they might have been used to that old I guess that old website design and how to navigate through the site.
Well, I mean, I can answer that in a couple of ways. I mean, the average user is spending around 4 hours a day, 4 or 5 hours a day on either their mobile device or on their desktop looking at various online properties. So I doubt it if someone purchased from you from a website 6 months ago will intuitively remember the navigation path for that website. That's one. I would say also that most websites typically have, maybe 30% of people that are repeat buyers. So that's still a minority compared to number of people that are new to the website. You can also segment out for this. So you can segment to say, what is the conversion impact on new visitors? And so you can specifically isolate it. The bottom line is that I believe that redesigns hurt because when you change a website entirely, you are literally making assumptions about things that you don't have data to support you. So there may be something that let's think of it this way. Who does the redesign? The redesign is done by a creative agency. A creative agency, while they care a lot about usability, they're usually focused on designing the best looking website. And that's a blind spot because consumers. One classic example that that I think is so telling is that ask any ask any expert on online usability about one-step checkout versus three-step checkout. So three-step checkout, essentially you kind of fill up partially information, you go to the next page, then you do shipping, billing, then you go to the next page, do a credit card, right? Almost everybody universally will say one-step checkout is so much more efficient. Well, the truth is that there is no data to support this. I have myself run tests where we've moved clients from three-step checkout to one-step checkout, and we've had absolutely no impact on conversion rates. Not worse, but it's not any better, which is the reason why we did it. And the reason for this is very simple. At the end of the day, consumers have there are certain things that they simply expect. It's not a question of whether it's good or bad. So when people are expecting to see, because you're not the only website in the world, so they probably are going to other websites and they're seeing a three-step checkout. That is the norm. Therefore, when they come to your website and they experience that same thing, it's acceptable to them, even though it's not something that that they are super excited about, or it's not something that they super hate. They're indifferent to it. And so one-step checkout is not that big an improvement for the user, even though from our perspective as people who want to kind of be at the bleeding edge of of trends and stuff like that, we feel that one-step checkout makes a lot of sense. So this is a simple example where what might make sense from an aesthetic perspective, or maybe in terms of like unique design execution, is something that users simply don't care about. And all we care about is the user journey. We're not in the business of winning awards for design work. We're in the business of helping clients get the best impact and helping users easily navigate and identify the right products and services for their needs.
Yeah.